The Flash has finally raced into theaters to change the entire landscape of the DC movie universe. But does this movie save the day or fall to its doom? I'm Adam from Does It Hold Up, and let's run through the good and the bad of perhaps DC's biggest gamble to date. In this movie, Ezra Miller is back as Barry Allen, aka The Flash, and travels through time in an attempt to save his mom, even though he is warned it could destroy everything. But ignoring the warning from Batman, a returning Ben Affleck, he takes off to time travel back to his early childhood. Everything seems to be going well until he's knocked from his chrono bubble at a time a few years before the present. There, he gets to spend time with his dad and his mom before the Barry of that time returns to the house and messes everything up. Now the two Barrys must work together to save both timelines. They enlist the help of a retired Batman, played by a returning Michael Keaton, and Supergirl, played by a new to the franchise, Sasha Calle. Obviously, things go incredibly wrong as original Barry tries to get back to his present timeline. Andy Muschietti takes the director's seat for this big-budget superhero flick after previously directing 3 horror movies, Mama, It, and It Chapter 2. Crazy to me how it feels like each subsequent movie is a step backward for this director. Mama was a great debut film. 2017's It was a masterful horror, but then it's all been sliding downhill from there. He has gone on record to say the wonky and at times downright bad CGI in The Flash was all intentional, as we are seeing things from Barry's point of view, but that seems like an excuse for CGI that just didn't work in this film. The lightning and some of the Batman fight work looked good, but anytime we are traveling at super speed, everything looks like a mid-budget video game cutscene. But the most atrocious part of the CGI comes with Supergirl, and anytime she is fighting, especially while flying. We aren't in the Speed Force during the rooftop battle after saving Supergirl from being locked up, and I can tell you it looks really rubbery and extremely fake. Have I seen worse CGI? Yeah, but not usually in a movie that had years to fix it after being delayed. The acting is good in this movie, but it doesn't take an expected leap forward from Ezra's 2 other outings as the Flash in Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League. He still plays the OG Barry as someone who may fall on the spectrum, as he is far beyond just being socially awkward. Quite a weird choice, as it's far from the way the character is portrayed in the comics or the vastly greater animated DC universe. This performance is much more in line with Zack Snyder's version of the character, so it's not as bad as the 2017 version we got, but it's still not good. Ezra pulls double duty as he must also play Barry from the past, and this Barry is the worst part of the entire movie. Everything from his laugh to his overplayed mannerisms are irritating to the point that I found myself zoning out whenever he was the focus. Michael Keaton is back as Batman Bruce Wayne, and it was a joy to see him put the suit back on. They actually give him a lot more to do than I was expecting, but it's kinda weird to see a much older version of the '89 Batman doing more stunts and harder action than the younger version. But I forgave all that because it just felt good to see the best live-action Batman back on the big screen. Sasha Calle is good as Supergirl, but was a little uneven in character development. She only had 2 moods, I'm not going to help you, and complete visceral rage. She's very good at both, but there's just not enough depth for me to decide if her performance was noteworthy or not. The story follows along a similar path to the Flashpoint comic story and Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox animated movie. So if you read that comic arc or seen that film, the base story will feel very familiar. There are some changes, but I don't think a lot of them work, especially the 2 Barrys. There were some great fan service moments, but unfortunately 90% of them were ruined by the trailers. I would have loved to see the '89 Batmobile uncovered for the first time, Supergirl's suit, or Zod's return as a surprise in the movie, but they held nothing back when releasing the trailers, which is a huge disappointment because this is a movie that could have been sold to audiences without revealing anything. There's a few small cameos and surprises, but I don't think they landed the way DC intended. There's a very big hidden surprise at the end of the movie, but the theater I was in was incredibly quiet when it happened. Not the reaction I think the filmmakers wanted when deciding to add that scene in. Now, one of the best moments in the film is a reunion of Barry and his mom, and it hits every emotional beat it was going for. It's a scene that will bring tears to your eyes, and it showcases probably the best acting by Miller in the entire movie. It's just a shame it comes so late that you may already be somewhat checked out by the time it arrives. There are some great parts of the movie too. It's not all bad. The feeling of Barry's speed, the Batman, the action, Zod's return, and more are all things that work really well. We also find out what Barry was doing during Zod and Superman's fight in Man of Steel, and it's such a wonderful setup to the Barry we come to know. This movie also goes for some humor, but doesn't really stick the landing on any of the jokes. The entire opening 10 to 15 minutes of the movie is one giant letdown in terms of story and visuals, and puts a bad taste in your mouth before the main story could even get going. For a movie I didn't have that much hope for in the first place, it barely surpassed the low bar I had set for it. It is probably in the top 3 DC live action films, but that's not saying much seeing the underwhelming movies we've had come out up to this point. Overall, The Flash is a mixed bag of some superb moments that come few and far between, and moments of bottom of the barrel acting, visuals, and storytelling. With all that said, we're going to give The Flash a B-. They did what they set out to when it came to shaking up the entire DC universe, but there were better ways it could have been done. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below if you plan on seeing The Flash in theaters, or if you've already seen it, what were your thoughts and where does it rank in your superhero list? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more great content, and while you're at it, click the box on the screen to check out our review for Pixar's Elemental. We also have a podcast, Does It Hold Up, anywhere podcasts are available, and until next time, be good to yourself, be kind to others, and keep watching movies.